Good morning. As I said, my name is Kyle Hurwitz, and I had the distinct pleasure of being the director of the Center for Military Connected Students. On behalf of President Schatzel, Executive Vice President and Provost Bradley, and the staff of the Center for Military Connected Students, thank you for being here this morning as we celebrate the formal opening of Brodsky Hall as a Center for Military Connected Students. The team and I are thrilled to be able to share our beautiful new space with you this morning. If you didn't know, there's a big sign right here next to me. Brodsky Hall was built in 1969 to house the International and Cultural Center. In 1981, it was named for Romanian immigrant George Brodsky, the center's first executive director, who served from 1949 to 1978. Little ad lib, I definitely will not be here that long. Often when we tell people we are located in Brodsky Hall, they get a quizzical look. It's clear they've never heard of Brodsky Hall. For ease of navigation, my team and I have taken to describing a location as between the Starbucks side of Ekstrom Library and Brandeis Law School. That usually produces a reaction along the lines of, oh, okay, I know where that is now. We shouldn't be surprised that folks don't always know where Brodsky is, since our immediate neighbor, Jewett Hall behind you, predates us by 83 years, having been built in 1886, one of the oldest structures on this campus. While the team and I are honored to have played an integral part in how we got here today with this beautiful facility, I think it is important to highlight some of the key individuals who made this a reality. Around 2010 timeframe, as centers serving military students began to crop up in institutions around the nation, numerous individuals on U of L tossed around the idea that we should create a space or center serving military students. Around that time, the Office of Military and Veteran Student Services was created. This staff and this office serve the needs of our military students well. However, budgetary, staffing, and other issues prevented the office from fully realizing the goal of having a one-stop shop for military issues and military students. In fall 2018, then Vice Provost and Executive Director at Delphi Center for Teaching and Learning, Dr. Gail Rhodes, now retired, and whom I have the thrill to say is sitting right over there, wave at us, Gail, began laying the groundwork by developing a formal plan to create a center. In 2021, President Mindaputi and the Executive Vice President and Provost Gonzalez approved creation of the center. Assistant Vice President for Government Relations, Shannon Rickett, and Brigadier General retired Steve Bullard, who you'll hear from in a few minutes, were instrumental in developing a funding strategy which resulted in the state appropriating the funds necessary to renovate this facility. Dr. Douglas Craddock was an early partner in the endeavor when he was Chief of Staff to the Provost. I vividly recall in fall of 2021, he and I had a meeting with University Planning, Design, and Construction, the architects, engineers, to discuss the project. Douglas's leadership was instrumental to the project, and what you see here today would not have been possible without him. They say, thank you, yes. Let's give Douglas a round of applause, thank you. Thank you, Lee. They say when making a speech, take great care when singling out individuals to thank, because inevitably you will forget someone important. Let me be clear. The following is not meant to be an exhaustive list, but I would be remiss if I didn't specifically mention and thank these colleagues who played the biggest part in the renovation. Ms. Carrie Whitemore, Associate Director, Planning, Design, and Construction, University Planning, Design, and Construction, and Renovation Project Manager. Is Carrie here? There she is in the back. Big hand of applause for Carrie. And right behind her partner in crime, Mr. Rick Martin, Director of Renovations and Maintenance Physical Plant. Rick, give us a wave. Carrie and Rick were great partners in this project, coaching, pleading, often getting me to where we need to be in order to make a decision to move forward. This space would not be possible without their hard work and the hard work of their teammates and colleagues, so thank you very much. I'd also like to recognize the vital work of Miss Misty Burkhead. Is Misty here? No, she couldn't be here. If you don't know, Miss Misty is an interior designer, University Planning, Design, and Construction, and quite possibly the hardest working person on this campus. No offense to our academic advisors. Miss Kayla Matola from University of Louisville Police Department, and Mr. Trenton Ferry from ITS. You'll see when you enter the space, we have state-of-the-art IT capability and security that was made possible by Kayla and her team and Trenton and his team. The mission statement of this center is that we will, and I'm reading verbatim, enable life-changing academic opportunities to service members and their families by streamlining access to military service benefits, connecting them to services and to each other, and by creating a community of support, enabling them to achieve their goals. This beautiful new space significantly elevates our ability to achieve this goal. Thank you again for being here today. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce the 18th President of the University of Louisville, Dr. Kim Schatzel.
I want to take credit for the weather. What a gorgeous morning to be able to have this celebration. I want to thank everybody for being here today. This is such a wonderful occasion for our 2,356 military-connected students and their families. The University of Louisville, as many of you know, is committed to the success of the students who are active U.S. service members, veterans, or who have other military connections. In 2022, as Kyle said, we formed the Center for Military Connected Students to better meet their needs. And today, we cut the ribbon on this most remarkable facility. The ribbon cutting marks the long road to achieve this goal of creating a dedicated and welcoming space to serve these students, who make up 9% of U of L's student population. And military connected student enrollment at U of L has increased by, you ready? 31% over the last 2 academic years, 31%. And I have to say, this center and the work that Kyle and others have is a great reason why we see this numbers rising and the success of this student population. I want to make sure that I provide some thanks as well to Governor Andy Beshear, State Representative Kevin Bratcher, State Senator Gerald Neal, Senator Gex Williams, and the rest of the legislature for providing bipartisan support and funding to be able to enable this project, along with the strong backing of Brigadier General Stephen Bullard, who's the Executive Director of the Kentucky Commission on Military Affairs. I also want to thank Juan Renaud, Deputy Commissioner of the Kentucky Department of Veteran Affairs, for his support. Can we give them a round of applause, please? And there's always others to thank to be able to have this kind of achievement be realized. I want to thank Chair Medley, Diane Medley, who's here today, for her support of this. And as she shared, she grew up very close to Fort Knox, so this has great meaning to her. And she's the first alum to be able to hold the chair position in quite a while. So we're glad that this is your first event as chair, and how meaningful that is. I also want to thank Mayor Craig Greenberg, who's represented by Deputy Mayor Pat Malloy today, for not only this, but also for our tremendous ongoing partnership that we have with the City of Louisville. We couldn't be doing the work we're doing today without the partnership and the vision of the mayor. The renovation of this facility is the result of much work by many people and organizations, including our partners, SNDBX Design Collaborative, Krulik Engineers, and Sendler Campbell and Associates. I want to specifically highlight the work, as we've already done, but I think it deserves a second round, the great work of the offices of U of L's Planning, Design, Construction, and Physical Plant, and I want to ask for another round of applause for those individuals. Our new center is directed by U.S. Air Force veteran Kyle Hurwitz. Thank you, Kyle, and I have to say I've got a special place in him because both he and my husband are big Arsenal fans, so we get to be able to know each other quite well during the Premier League season. I have to tell you that Kyle, his leadership in terms of this center and just in general on campus in terms of our military connected students has just been outstanding. And the fact that we have this center and the work that he's done to be able to realize it is a big factor. His leadership, this center, the work of everybody connected with our military connected students is a big factor in why U of L earned 2023 gold designation for being a military-friendly campus and how much that means to all of us. So thank you, Kyle, and your team for that. Under the guidance of Kyle and his team, we believe the center will improve U of L's ability to address the academic, financial, physical, and social needs of students who are active duty service members, veterans, or their families. This space will help support student success. It provides improved accessibility, connection, and appreciation for this most important student population that we serve. Its daily duties will include processing VA benefits, military tuition assistance, administering scholarships, and helping provide training for faculty and staff who wish to learn more about the military-connected student experience and contribute to their success. I'm honored to be part of a university community, I truly am, that so values, supports, and celebrates its students who have served or are serving in the branches of the military, as well as those families that they love. The example, sense of duty, and sacrifice of these individuals is beyond commendable, and they are very worthy Their example, sense of duty, and sacrifice are beyond commendable, and they are very, very worthy of our admiration, our praise, and our support. Thank you all for being here today and demonstrating how important our military-connected students are to this entire community. Thanks again.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Brigadier General Retired Steve Bullard, Executive Director of the Kentucky Commission on Military Affairs. Sir, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Kyle. Well, I've been inside, and this is a beautiful facility. Thank you, President Schatzel, and all of our VIPs, and all of the overflowing crowd here today. When I look at this, it kind of gives me the shivers because it reminds me of all the all-nighters I pulled in college to get through, and this is a perfect location for that. So that's outstanding. I didn't graduate from U of L, but I sent two of my children here, one of which was military connected. He was in the Kentucky Air National Guard and is still in the Kentucky Air National Guard, and I'm very proud of that. It's fun how this all came together. Kyle had been keeping me informed, and I had mentioned this to Governor Beshear. I know the legislature was looking at it, and Governor Beshear said, have President Bendapudi call me. And I said, I will. And so we're at the U of L football game, the veterans game, and Kyle will remember this. And I said to Dr. Bendapudi, here's Governor Beshear's number, let's call him. She goes, oh no, I cannot call Governor Beshear. I'm not on that level. I go, yes you are, you're a university president. You can call Governor Beshear. She goes, no, I can't. And so I go, Kyle, give me some letterhead. So we got letterhead. She wrote a note to Governor Beshear, and I took a picture of it, and we texted it to him. And he's like, well, why didn't you just call? So I had mentioned that to you, of course, President Schatzel, that you are on his. You can call the governor anytime you want. You have no need to go through anything to do that. So we're very excited. We really appreciate the Kentucky General Assembly putting this into the budget as well. Kevin Bratcher did a wonderful job supporting the University of Louisville, and so did the entire General Assembly. And we're so excited to support all of the Air Force and Army ROTC programs here, and you all have a wonderful future ahead. You're going to love it in the United States Air Force, and same for the Army folks here. I would do either service if I could do it again, and I would love to be able to do it again. It was a great adventure, and this is a great place to start that adventure. So thank you so much for doing this. You will love this center. Thank you, everyone.
And now it gives me great pleasure to call up to the podium the Senior Vice Provost, Dr. Gail Dupuy.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Provost and the Executive Vice Provost, I'd like to thank you for being here. Jerry wishes he was able to be here. We've already taken a moment to recognize the numerous people across campus who have helped make this center a reality. I want to look forward a little bit and recognize the staff that's going to be working in this center and the great work that they're going to be doing with our students. So Kyle, and where did they all go? Oh, sorry. Right. Thank you all. Please, a big round of applause for them, please. As you've heard, this renovation was made possible by strong bipartisan support in the Kentucky House, Senate, and Governor's office. And as you've heard earlier, we are thankful for the work of Representative Bratcher, Brigadier General Bullard, and Governor Beshear for making this a reality. While we are celebrating the physical space this morning, it's important to note the important work that the center staff performs supporting U of L's 2,356 military-connected students who run the gamut from first-time, full-time undergraduate students to PhD students and everything in between. These students include a Navy veteran, nuclear submariner and recent speed school graduate, an active duty U.S. Space Force officer stationed in Hawaii, the youngest daughter of a deceased veteran who requires type 1 diabetic medicine, and the stepdaughter of a U.S. Marine Corps veteran who cared for her sister with a mental illness. Among its key functions, this center staff will identify and track military-connected students, connect military-connected students to each other and to campus and community services, advocate for policies and procedures supporting military-connected veterans, advise graduate school for graduate missions of military-connected students, advise on processes for VA education benefits, and processes for military tuition assistance and residency coding for military-connected students. It also provides engaging and meaningful programming for military-connected students. These functions directly enable the university's strategic goals of attracting and retaining graduating a talented, diverse student body through meaningful and structured commitment to student success, increasing and supporting non-traditional student populations, and continuing to identify and remove barriers to improve retention and persistence to graduation and to ensure progress towards equal outcomes for all our students. Although we are celebrating a formal ribbon cutting this morning, the center moved to Brodsky Hall in October, and prior to that, the center was spread across 3 locations and 2 campuses for 18 months. So this purpose-renovated 3-story space with more than 4,700 square feet includes a student study room, a lounge, meeting space, lactation room, offices for 5 full-time staff members, student and staff kitchenettes, and an ADA-compliant restroom with shower. The center also has flexible space for student support staff from student services across U of L to assist our military-connected students at this center. To my right, you can see the flagpole, which will fly the American flag. This is one of the 5 American flags flying on Belknap campus, but is the only location which will also fly the Prisoner of War Missing in Action flag, which will be raised in a separate event. You can see the ADA-compliant picnic bench, and that bench has already become a favorite area for eating lunch and studying and reading for our students. In June, the final phase of renovation will begin with the basement of this building. This phase will remove walls to open up space, install new flooring, new lighting grid, and a separate study room and a lending library, and as well as a dedicated room for U of L's Chapter of Student Veterans of America. The Kentucky Department of Veteran Affairs has lauded the new space as the best in the state and is using it as a model for other state institutions. In fact, it is helping the Kentucky Department of Veterans Affairs host a military-connected student success summit later this year. The center has hosted visits from institutions in Ohio and as far away as California. John F. Kennedy once said, "Our progress as a nation can be no swifter than our progress in education. The human mind is our fundamental resource." With that, we are thrilled to formally celebrate the opening of this new space, and we know it will contribute significantly to our military-connected students' ability to progress in their educational endeavors. Have a wonderful day, and go Cards.
All right, now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Kendrick Warren. Kendrick is a Marine Corps veteran, speed school student with a 3.8 GPA, and he's a frequent user of this space.
So you all might not know this, but there's 2 types of veterans: Marine Corps veterans and everybody else. All right? So I fall in the Marine Corps category. Now, they just told me today to tell you what this center means to me. So from a student's point of view, you walk by a building that is being reconstructed and isn't open yet, you just think, it'll open when I'm gone, because that's how it always works. But I was here spring 2022, looking at it, fall 2022, using it. Now, if you want to eat, you'll go to the SAC. If you want to study, you'll go to the library. If you want to eat, study, and meet other veterans, you come here. What it's done for me, you wouldn't believe. Derby just passed. Now, I'm kind of new to Louisville. I didn't really know what to do for Derby. But another veteran that I met here invited me this last weekend to come to his house to watch the Derby. Without this center, that would have never happened. I come here just about every day. And maybe even if I'm just the only person in there, hey, it's okay. But if I'm not, I'm gonna have some of the greatest conversations that I've had since I was wearing the uniform. So I wanna thank everybody that made it happen. I mean, hearing you all talk about it, it is kind of crazy to see all the work that went into it. But I have to tell you as a student, I'm thankful. And I appreciate everybody that had a hand into it. Thank you.
If you'll turn your attention to the flagpole to my right, your left, I would like to invite Air Force ROTC's color guard to raise the American flag and the aforementioned prisoner of war missing in action flag. You may stand. How about a round of applause for Air Force ROTC? At this time, I would like to invite President Schatzel, Senior Vice Provost Dupuy, Brigadier General Retired Bullard, Ms. Kristen Roy, Ms. Marianne Campbell, Mr. Dakota Walker, and Mr. Kendrick Warren to the front for the ribbon cutting. Although, give us 1 second, because we have to move the, the only problem with this building is this giant pillar. It's right in the middle of 1970s architecture, so we have to move the ribbon to front and center. So, Mr. Walker and company, if you could come help us out.
Philip.